Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today I'll be playing another premiere draft of the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. Without further ado, let's get into the draft. We are going to take this Mythic uncommon here, Fear Fire Foes, as our pack 1 pick one. This card can often be a one-sided board wipe. There are plenty of 1 toughness cards in the format, plenty of things that make 1/1 tokens, as well as just like 2/1 and 3/1 bodies. And you can always do X damage to their biggest creature and 1 damage to the rest. So Fear Fire Foes is an excellent card that fits into any red deck. It's also kind of easily splashable, only requiring 1 red mana. So if you're like a blue deck with Pelargir Survivors, you can use those to mana fix for the red mana. Or if you're a green deck with Woe's Pathfinders, pretty easy to splash in. So I think this card is super great, and it's not restrictive at all. Doors of Durin is a very powerful rare, but it's a lot more restrictive. We got to be red and green, so even if we splash in one of those halves, it is much more restrictive than Fear Fire Foes, and I think this card is super powerful as well, so we'll take the less restrictive card that is almost as powerful, I would say. Fear Fire Foes is pretty ridiculous. For pack 1, pick 2, we can stick to red with a Relentless Rohirrim, which has a great Enter the Battlefield effect where the Ring Tempts us. That ability has just been a huge overperformer because getting to level 2 can assure that you're going to be drawing well throughout the game, since you'll be drawing a card, discarding a card every turn. It's pretty dang important. A lot of games can come down to who has a level 2 ring bearer and who doesn't, because that will decide who's going to draw better throughout the game and find the cards that they need. So we'll take a Relentless Rohirrim here and be pretty happy about it. Nothing else here is very exciting to me. Pack 1, pick 3, there's a Rally at the Hornburg for sticking to aggressive red stuff. There's also a Dawn of a New Age, which is just a really big card draw spell. Not hard to have like 2 creatures on board when you play this, in which case it's going to turn out to be 2 mana, draw 2, gain 4. Takes a little while to do it, but still a very huge piece of card draw there, so that's a decent sign for white, that white is pretty open and just a powerful card. I mean, it's only pick 3, but I don't think the first 2 people would have taken any other white card over Dawn of a New Age out of this pack. So we could take the Dawn, we could also just take Rally to stick to red and keep doing what we're doing at the start. I don't think anything else would be the right pick. Like, I do like Easterling Vanguard a lot, but I think if I'm going off color, I should just take Dawn of a New Age. I'm just going to hard cut red, though. I'm going to, well, no, I've never played Dawn of a New Age. Let's play the new hotness, the spicy mythic rare, potentially. See if we can get that in our deck. Ooh, this is a great draft pod. We're seeing a lot of powerful cards getting opened out of these packs, because now we've got Relentless Rohirrim in red still, which is what I'm going to take. But there's also all 3 of these blue cards I think are some of blue's best commons. Birthday Escape, real cheap way for the Ring Tempts You, and you draw a card so it replaces itself immediately. Deceive the Messenger is a fantastic combat trick that can often just kill an opponent's creature and leave you with a 1/1. And Glorious Gale has been a pretty good counter spell. There are a lot of non-creature ways to make creatures, like some sorceries with Amass and stuff, that did make me a lot lower on this card initially, but there's also enough legends that the upside of the card, where you might also get the Ring Tempting You, has kind of made up for it, so it's kind of balanced out to be pretty much just as good as Essence Scatter was in Dominar United. But I'm just going to take another Rohirrim, sticking to red there. Pick 5. Nothing spectacular in this pack. It's really hard to make it to 8 mana, especially in Premier Draft. The aggro decks are just pretty great in best of 1 formats like Premier Draft. In traditional draft, you could definitely go more rampy, more control-y, and be a little less scared. But I just don't think we're ever making it to 8 mana. I'm going to take a Took Reaper here towards red-white. Another card where the Ring Tempts us, this one when it dies, but that's going to go pretty well alongside a couple copies of Relentless Rohirrim. Alright, pack 1, pick 6, there's a Protector of Gondor now for 2 creatures off of 1 card, which is great. Landroval is solid as well as a finisher, helping get another creature into the sky. By itself, its stat line's pretty bad for the mana cost, but pretty solid ability that does make it pretty close to Protector of Gondor here. I think I just prefer the Protector of Gondor, especially when I'm in red-white, because there are definitely some human synergies that can pop off when you play 2 humans in 1 turn, so I like the Protector here. Breaking of the Fellowship wouldn't be a horrible pick either. I don't really like the damage effect of it that much, but the Ring Tempts You really makes up for that, especially when we're starting with double Rohirrim in red, so that would be a solid place to go too. But we're just getting multiple Protector of Gondors in a row, so I'm pretty happy to move towards red-white. Good stuff in green. Woe's Pathfinder still here. Solid stuff in blue with a Kingfisher. Just again, feels like some pretty strong packs overall. Hobbit Sting is an okay removal spell. And a deck with a ton of creatures, a nice aggressive deck, which is what we are doing here. Haradrim Spearmaster is a pretty easy pickup. Push that damage wherever you need it with that +1/+0 ability. Now we'll take the Escape from Orthanc combat trick. It's a pick 11 Easterling Vanguard? What? I don't think I've seen any other great black, but there's an Easterling Vanguard and Sam's Desperate Rescue pick 11? I'm so deep into white, though, I think I just take Took Reaper. But that's wild to me. Because those were like the only good black cards in that pack anyway. So just nobody took the black cards out of that pack. Alright, some solid additions in these last few picks. Not like super exciting ones, but perfectly playable cards for red-white humans. Alright, pack 2, pick 1. Kind of unfortunate stuff here. I'm going to go with Eowyn, Lady of Rohan. Very solid human with a great ability. Giving one of your creatures first strike or vigilance each turn can really help make your attacks a lot better throughout the game. So giving like your 2/1s first strike when your opponent has 1/1 blockers is awesome. Giving Eowyn vigilance when you're racing your opponent is pretty good. She's just a really nice flexible card. But we've got a Nazgul and an Orcish Bowmasters, two absolutely exceptional black cards out of this pack. I guess I could still take the Orcish Bowmasters. No way we're getting the Nazgul back. And then we try to be like white-black, maybe? White-black or red-black. We're pretty even on white and red cards right now. I don't think it's going to work out super well. I'll just take an Eowyn here. Sad to open up just some incredibly powerful off-color stuff. Now we can take a Rally at the Hornburg, which is great for red-white humans aggro. I'd love to wheel an Eagles of the North or a Warbeast of Gorgoroth would be fine, but this is much better in other red decks. Pack 2, pick 3. There's another Rally at the Hornburg. It's competing with an Errand Rider of Gondor. These cards are both exceptional, the Errand Rider of Gondor being a very good value play, the Rally at the Hornburg being a super good aggro play. We've got a Dawn of a New Age in here, which also benefits a lot from plopping multiple creatures on the board off of one card. This is a little weird, but I'm going to go Rally over the Errand Rider of Gondor, which I normally have to be convinced a lot to do, but I don't have very many legends. My Ring Tempts is mostly like turn 4 and later. So this is mostly going to be draw a card, then put a card back. I'm going to take the Rally. They're both fantastic cards, but I think Rally is probably a tiny bit better in here. Now I can take a Took Reaper over a 5-drop for this aggressive deck. It's a Denethor as well. Definitely could have been some sweet white-black stuff if I was omnipotent and I knew the future. Or omniscient, that's the one. Oh my god, Claim the Precious still in here? Well, there's also a Theoden, which is exactly what we want in red-white humans, so we gotta take Theoden. Now I can take an Errand Rider of Gondor over a Took Reaper and not much else. Alright, I guess this is just a really strong pod in terms of the power level of the packs that are getting opened up. Because we're getting some late Errand Rider Gondors and Theodens and stuff still for our deck. So even though we're seeing a lot of good black stuff for black archetypes, like we're seeing plenty for our deck as well, so I think things are going A-okay here. We're at 21 out of 23 non-land cards. And the deck's looking pretty good. Grab a Spearmaster. Alright, I am not going to play a Soldier of the Grey Host. I don't think the +2/+0 makes up for the fact that it's a 4-mana 2/2 flyer. It's just a really bad deal, so I'm just going to rare draft this uncommon. Take another Esquire the King. because I might actually run 2 of these, and I'm definitely not going to play a Forge Anew. Very much a constructed-oriented card. Alright, nobody's in white-black, but that does make sense. There are 10 different color pairs, and 8 people in the draft pod. You're never going to have someone in every single color pair, unless you're in like a 3-color format. Because often there's going to be 2 or 3 people drafting the same color pair. Like there's probably like 2 or 3 red-black players in almost every draft pod of this format at this point. I mean, Flowering of the White Tree has been pretty powerful in my decks like this in the past, but it is double white, which is real restrictive cost-wise. I guess I am heavier into white than red, though. I have 16 white cards, 10 red. Double white might not be horrible. And the only other thing I really want here is Protector of Gondor, which we've got a lot of Gondors wheeling early, and nobody's in white-black or white-red except for us. So I don't think anybody else really wants Protectors that badly. I think white feels open enough to wheel the Protector. I guess maybe Flowering of the White Tree is more likely to wheel because it's harder to cast. That, or like we have to decide if we think Flowering's more likely to wheel because it's harder to cast, or if Protector of Gondor is more likely to wheel because it's a common. Sometimes people will just rare draft just for their collection, so who knows if we could get the Flowering back. I don't know. Take another rally though pretty easily here. Card is incredible with our double Theoden. Card's also fantastic with our Dawn of a New Age. Now we can grab a Shadowfax for the top end of our curve. Or an Eowyn. Second Eowyn would be fun. I think I should probably take my first 5-drop here. And we might even get an Eowyn back, probably not. If literally anybody's in white, they should probably take Eowyn out of that pack. Okay, this pack's not very good. Cavaliers, whatever. Farmers, whatever for this deck. We've just got a lot of good 3s. So I'm just going to take the Oliphant. Cut a mountain for that, I guess. Another rally at the Hornburg. Rally number 4 or Errand Rider number 2. I kind of want to go rally number 4 because 2 Theoden and Dawn of a New Age. We also have double Esquire to buff the whole board. We're just going to go full rally. Scoop to Fear Fire Foes. Scoop to Dawn of a New Age. Or Dawn of a New Age. What is the other one called? The Black Breath. That's the one that is -1/-1 to everybody. Wow, yeah, we're in an open seat right here. Grab another Oliphant, I guess? Not playing 3 Spearmasters, am I? Probably not playing a War Beast. I'm just not going to have the big creatures to die in Amass. I don't know if I'm playing any of this stuff. I'll just grab another Oliphant, I suppose, for the land cycling. Grab my 4th Mirkwood Bats. If you ever want to see how many of a card you have in your collection, just hold down the Alt key and it'll give you the checklist numbers there. We did wheel the Protector of Gondor, so we got everything, which is nice. Okay. Draft a 4th Mirkwood Spider. I'm not going to play 3 Esquire. I'm already not sure if I'm playing 2. Probably will. Oh my god, pick 13 Errand Rider of Gondor? Well, I'll play it. I'm probably just cutting Quarrel's End, because we have 2 Errand Rider and Dawn of a New Age for card draw, and those both seem better than Quarrel's End. I need to cut a lot more than just that, though, because we have 32 non-land cards in our deck right now. 3 of those are land cyclers, so I guess maybe 29. So we still have to cut 6 cards, though. And we would rather not have to spend mana land cycling pretty much ever when we're in an aggressive deck, because we want to make the most of all of our mana every turn. We want to drop 1 drop turn 1, 2 drop turn 2, 3 drop turn 3, in which case we never have an extra mana to spend on land cycling. So you actually don't really want to run land cyclers as much in these super aggressive decks. Like, you would rather just not have them, because you don't really want 6 drops and you don't really want to have to spend a mana to pull out a land. So, not that I wouldn't run them in these kind of decks, but I'm just saying these are not the kind of decks that we should be running like 4 land cyclers and cutting lands 1 for 1 with them. Because every opportunity that I have to spend all of my mana to commit more to the board, I'm going to take. Like on turn 4, playing a Took Reaper and a Rally at the Hornburg in the same turn. On turn 1, playing any 1-drop. On turn 3, playing a 3-drop, all that stuff. We want to be really mana efficient and spend all our mana dumping things out. We don't want to like play a 3-drop on turn 4 and spend 1 mana to land cycle. We got to be as mana efficient as possible early to keep the pressure on our opponents. So, I mean, I probably just cut maybe all these Took Reapers, because I still have 5 2-mana creatures without them. And they're some of my only non-humans in the deck, so some of my only cards that don't trigger Theoden. I mean, that gets rid of a lot of our ring tempting, but that's still fine. This is a little unfortunate, but we might have to try to be just a deck that doesn't have the ring tempt us at all. Because if I cut all 4 Took Reapers, I only have 2 cards in the whole deck that have the ring tempt us. It's just 2 Rohirrims, so we're just never going to hit level 2, which is the really important part. Level 1 is still okay, chipping in a couple points of damage, but it's definitely not nearly as good. So I almost feel like for my 4 drops, I just run the Protectors, cut the Rohirrims in here, because I just didn't get other ways for the ring to tempt us. So we do something like all that gets cut. Cut an Oliphant, and it might be reasonable to play 15 lands here with 2 land cyclers. I never want to have to land cycle these things early. As I said before, I want to spend all my mana committing more to the board, but I'm also such a low curve deck that I probably don't need to land cycle them that often. Like, average is 2.8, but that's with 6 drops. Average is 2.5. So, I don't know, it's pretty low. I mean, maybe it's better to just cut the land cyclers and play 17 lands. Maybe cut the land cyclers 1 land and put 1 Rohirrim back in. Something like that could be okay. Got 4 Rally at the Hornburg, 3 Protector of Gondor. I kind of like Eagles in the North, just hard cast late game as well. I cut just Oliphant and a land. 16 lands, 1 Eagles in the North. Drop a mountain here. Call it a deck there. Seems pretty fine to me. I think that's where we're going to call it. Alright, here's a look at the final deck list for today. It's going to be a red-white humans aggro deck. We've got a good curve of a ton of ways to spread the board state wide. We have 4 Rally at the Hornburg and a Westfold Rider on turn 2. We have 2 Esquire of the King on turn 1. These can also buff the whole board if we get a wide board state. We have 3 Protector of Gondor that also give us 2 humans off 1 card. And we have 2 Theoden that are going to be giving something double strike whenever a human hits the board. So Theoden with 4 copies of Rally at the Hornburg and 2 copies, actually 4 copies of Rally at the Hornburg and 3 copies of Protector of Gondor means that Theoden is going to be a must-kill on-sight threat, or we're going to be quickly just putting way too much damage directly into our opponent's face. We've also got some good value. We don't have any Ring Tempts Us in this deck, unfortunately, so we aren't going to be able to draw a card, discard a card every turn off of Ring Bearers. That's the biggest downside of this deck, but we make up for it with some other good value. Errand Rider of Gondors for solid card draw and card advantage, and a Dawn of a New Age that should be pretty powerful. Card advantage with 4 Rally at the Hornburgs and 3 Protector of Gondors in the deck, as I've said before. A little bit of interaction here with Hobbit Sting for a 1/1 removal spell. Fear Fire Foes is a potential board wipe. Other than that, we have Escape from Orthanc as a combat trick, and Flowering of the White Tree as a pretty big anthem. So that is the deck list for today. Without further ado, let's head into the gameplay and see how it does. Alright, here we are for game 1. We've got a Rally at the Hornburg into a Theoden, and then we'll Dawn of a New Age, try to get some good value off of that. Playing against blue-red with a battle-scarred goblin on turn 2. The goblin is definitely pretty good against my 1/1s. We cannot block the goblin well because it just pings everything that blocks it for 1 damage. So if I block it with 50 1/1s, it'll just clear all of them out of here. There's another battle-scarred goblin for our opponent. Here's an Eagles of the North I could plane cycle here. That's pretty nice, because I think I'm going to have to do that, because I'm going to want to plane cycle the Eagles of the North so I can cast Esquire the King and Dawn of a New Age in the same turn. I think I just get in for 2 damage here. I don't want to lose this 1/1. So I don't actually want them to trade with the battle-scarred goblin, but I'm attacking under the assumption that they don't want to trade their goblin for a single 1/1. And they did not want to do that. Okay, we do hit an Errand Rider of Gondor now, so I could play that instead of Dawn of a New Age right now. I think that is fine. Make a double-striking Theoden attack in here. And if we draw planes naturally, I can play Esquire this turn as well. I could still cycle the Eagles, but then I'm still only playing Errand Rider this turn anyway. So I can just cycle it next turn if I still don't have my white source. If they've got the Smite for 3 damage to something, I should probably use it before the Errand Rider resolves, so that I have to put a card back instead of straight up drawing a card. They might have a counterspell, though, instead that they're considering. Counterspell it is. Fair enough. Now I am going to play the Mountain Cycle, the Eagles of the North. Next turn we drop an Esquire, and then cast Dawn of a New Age afterward. And this is going to turn into a draw 4 if they don't counter it, or kill one of our creatures in response. Protector of Gondor. This is a really greedy idea, but I'm gonna keep playing creatures. If they have their own copy of Fear Fire Foes, it's gonna single-handedly win them this game, because they're going to clear out so much stuff. But I'll cast Esquire first, so if they have a counterspell, they might counter the Esquire instead. Probably not, but then we just cast Protector and hope they don't have another counterspell. They don't have another counterspell. I guess we get to see what kind of tricks they might have here. Ooh, you know what they could have? They could have Deceive the Messenger for like -0. Or -3/-0, make a 1/1. That would make Theoden just a 0/3 double strike, and they could just double block kill it. So I think I just send the 1/1s in, because trading a single 1/1 into a Deceive the Messenger is fine, but trading a Theoden into one is pretty bad. And if they just had a burn spell here, I think they would have just burned Theoden in response to me playing more humans, so that I wouldn't get any double strikers this turn. And it is just going to be a combat trick that makes the goblin a 5/5 till end of turn. So that's fine. Alright, no board wipe. We just cast a Dawn of New Age. Get ready to draw 5. Alright, no board wipe. Let's go. So that is going to tap and stun 2 of my creatures next turn. So that's not perfect, but it's not the end of the world. The ring does tempt them with that as well, so their battle-scarred goblin draws and discards a card each turn now. And I can't kill it without losing Theoden, so I'm going to take 2, because it will shoot Theoden for 1 damage when I go for the block. So drop Dawn of a New Age, hold up Escape from Orthanc, start drawing like an absolute champion. Threatening to use Esquire's ability to have a 1/1 kill the goblin. Prefer not to have to do it, but if they block, I am going to do that so I don't have to spend a card. Okay. onto a Westfold Rider. So stun 2 creatures, probably Theoden and Esquire. Theoden and Protector of Gondor, fair enough. Escape from Orthank's actually pretty nasty against the stun. We can just untap and give Theoden flying anyway. And I can blow up the scroll with my Westfold Rider if I'm really scared about them drawing a bunch of extra cards. So we're probably going to end up playing Westfold Rider to give something double strike, trying to hit them for lethal, and if somehow lethal doesn't happen, we can sacrifice Westfold Rider post-combat to stop them from drawing like 4 cards for our 4 tapped creatures. 1 for 4 seems like a fine deal. Hobbit Sting is the draw, so I can play... Interesting. Play Westfold Rider. Kind of just going for it with an escape, right? I can't lethal them without escape from Orthanc. Like, I have to untap Theoden or Protector of Gondor and then give that double strike and try to kill them with that. Because on board, if I just play Westfold Rider and buff my 1/1 token or something, I hit them for 3, or I hit them for 4 if I tap the Esquire. Yeah, I have to... If I'm trying to just lethal them here, I have to just go escape. Protector, hope they don't have the 3 damage burn. This is already lethal on board, so they actually have to respond before I even play Westfold Rider. Because I can attack with both and then buff with Esquire. I think I would rather play the Rider than do an Esquire buff, though. That way, again, if it doesn't work out and it's not lethal, I can still blow up their scroll. Get rid of their draw 4. Now, I was going to say, now if they have the counter spell, though, I only hit for 6. That still puts them to 1, though, so I guess we're letting them draw 4 to put them to 1 life. Alright. So no idea what's in their hand, so we don't know for sure that we would have killed them if we just went for Esquire. They probably have a bounce spell at worst. Like the 2 mana unsummon to put Protector back in her hand or something. Deceive the Messenger maybe is another one. -3, -0 to a creature, amass a 1/1 army. Alright. They're already at 1 life, so more creatures are pretty redundant. I think I just Hobbit Sting attack with everybody. And choose what I want to do post-combat. But it's probably Spearmaster. Because, I mean, it's not Protector of Gondor, because I'm going to Hobbit Sting to try to have as clear of a path as possible. Then again, since every single one of these creatures is single-handedly lethal, I'd rather attack with all of them than buff them with the Esquire. Alright, there is a Deceive the Messenger, but they are just going to scoop them up, and we'll start this draft off 1-0 as we head into Game 2. Here we are on the play for Game 2. We've got a Rally at the Hornburg into a Dawn of a New Age, so at worst we just play it as a Divination. At best, get like a land and a 3-drop. So I've got something to impact the board turn 3. But if Rally into Dawn is the worst that can happen here, I think I'm pretty happy with the hand. Because that Dawn is going to help us hit the lands we need to get to the 4 mana for the Protector of Gondors. Would be happier to find a 3-drop, because then I can just try to play all the Protector of Gondors before the Dawn of a New Age. I think I should just slam it down here for a draw 2 rather than waiting forever. If I don't do it now, I don't do anything this turn, then I'm going to go Protector into Dawn. Yeah, I think we're just doing it now as a draw 2. Which is not a bad card. It's just not super exciting knowing how big it could be if I waited a very long time to play it. Okay. That Trebuchet is going to be pretty annoying for us. 1/4 body against all our 1/1s. Okay, another rally at the Hornburg, not bad. Oh, you know what would be sweet? It would be sweet if we had a Samwise in this deck. Samwise can return a permanent that was put into our graveyard from the battlefield this turn to our hand. So we could let Dawn of a New Age die and then Samwise it back to our hand. That would be sick. Alright, we don't have any legends for Errand Rider of Gondor, but I can definitely put back one of these lands. And then play Rally afterward, attack with everybody, chump attacking with a 1/1 to get in with everyone else for a bunch of damage. Now they have something almost definitely, but I'm not really going to play around it here, we'll just see what it is. Might just be a counterspell and then goodbye Errand Rider. No counterspell. Alright. Another land, we'll drop that. Go for the rally. It is a counterspell. Okay, well, it is much better for us for them to counter the rally than the Errand Rider, because we needed the card drop pretty bad. So I am cool with that. Guess we would have gotten more damage in the other way. But I think Errand Rider of Gondor is the more valuable card overall. Alright, they've got 2 mana up. I've got a Westfold Rider that can just immediately blow up one of these Trebuchets. Or I can Fear Fire Foes one of them. Clear out the 1/1 attack with everybody. I think I'd go Protector of Gondor Westfold Rider. I think I play Protector first, because if they have a counter creature, I would rather they kill the Protector. So I can still kill a Trebuchet. Yep, you got it. Now we clear out a Trebuchet, and then we're going to fear the next one. Lose a 1/1 to hit with everybody else. Okay. I guess lose a 1/1 to trade and then hit with everybody else is also fine. They're down to 9. They're down to 9. We can clear out their biggest blocker next turn, probably. Unless it has more than 5 toughness. Ew, Felbeast is such a disgusting card. Good thing I still have a 1/1 at least. Théoden would be pretty cool, but Fear Fire Foes is plenty powerful here. We kill the Felbeast, and if they block with Trebuchet, then the Trebuchet dies as well. So they're going to go down to 3. Dead in 1 hit to any of our creatures, but they do have the food token from the Felbeast. There's Claim the Precious. Greatest hits of incredibly powerful black magic cards coming in hot. We're flooding a little bit here. This could definitely be an issue. Still more counters in hand. Nope. We will attempt an Errand Rider attack. They will have to chump if they don't have a trick. Okay, they've got the trick. Tap the Errand Rider, draw a card. Ring Sight. Okay, that is a magic card. If they've got like a bomb rare, that makes sense, like Witch King of Angmar or something. Haunt of the Dead Marshes is the choice. Just get a nice little chump blocker here that they can keep reanimating since the Trebuchet is legendary, since it's a ring bearer. There's a Goldberry for a 1/3. Spearmaster means we get a double strike attack in. The triple block Theoden to kill it, which would mean that they would die, so they can't do that. So we make Theoden 3 power and we make the Errand Rider a double striker. So they can't kill either of our creatures. And they have to lose a creature here. Since they don't have the mana up for their food. Okay, so lose the Haunted Dead Marshes, stop the damage. They can reanimate the Haunt, but it'll be tapped next turn. There's a Mordor Muster. Go down to 2. Get a 1/1 and draw a card. Does Goldberry work? They can chump with the 1/1 army and make Goldberry a 2/4. It's a weird magic card. Do I have any double white cards in this deck? Got a Flowering of the White Tree that's double white, but I could just play the plains and do that. Because they don't have any discard draw. Unless Theoden dies, then I guess I do. Oh snap, I forgot I need to choose what's double strike here, so I need to worry about a 2/4 and a 1/4 mainly. They can't double block anybody. Because I attack with all 3, they have to just block, block, block. So I just give Errand Rider double strike. Make Errand Rider double striking 4 power creatures so they can't just kill it with a 2/4. And 2/4 there, it survives. 2/4 there, it survives. Yeah. Oh snap, they've got a food token so they can double block somebody. Well, there's Flowering. Now, I think we attack with everybody, but I don't know where I put the plus. I guess it doesn't matter, they're at 2. Yeah, I mean, it's all lethal. Now I wish I gave the Spearmaster double strike, since I drew into the Flowering, so both of these were already going to be big enough to kill a 1/4 or a 2/4, but the Spearmaster's not. So without another trick, they can't have 4 power on their board. They can just move the +1/+1 counter from the 1/1 to the 1/3. So they can't kill any of these creatures on board. Still. Theoretically. Okay, reanimate the Haunt means we are straight up just gonna wipe out 2 of their blockers. Again, things would have went better if we'd given double strike to the Spearmaster. We would have just wiped out all of their blockers, which would have been phenomenal. They do find another Mordor Muster, which is very good. Another blocker and another card. There's a Golem for yet another blocker that's big enough to trade single-handedly into an Errand Rider. We draw into an Esquire of the King that could buff everybody. If one thing gets in, it kills them, so they have to block everything individually, probably. Golem plus Haunt is kind of nasty. I might just not attack this turn. I guess, I mean, I'm definitely supposed to at least, like, double strike 1 creature and attack with that. So, okay, they're just gonna scoop them up. They're over it. So that will be victory number 2. Yeah, I don't know. I assume they had nothing in their hand because of that scoop there. So against nothing in hand, then on board, I think we do just attack with everybody. Double strike the Spearmaster then. Because if they have absolutely nothing in hand, then that makes it so all these creatures are big enough to kill the Trebuchet. And they just block 4 things individually. They do get to kill an Errand Rider of Gondor, but we get to kill all 4 of their creatures. And then we can just clean up next turn. Alright. I think I was going to play it safe there. I was kind of scared. But that probably, based on the fact that they scooped there, that would have played out worse for us. Because if they had nothing and then I just only attacked with a big double striking Errand Rider or Theoden or something, then they just trump with the Haunt. I guess they don't get to reanimate the Haunt immediately because the Great Hall is not going to help them reanimate it. So that still puts them down to 3 creatures against 5 attackers on our next turn, but it does add to the number of cards that they could draw into that would let them survive on the next turn. If I just attacked with everybody and got them to a position where they have 0 creatures on board, then the list of cards that could save them are much lower than if I just attacked with 1 creature, so I don't know. Don't know if I played it out perfectly, but our deck was nice and aggressive. We drew just enough stuff to barely stop them from stabilizing there. They were getting real close, though. That game lasted a lot longer than we wanted it to, but we still got the victory in the end, 2-0 heading into Game 3. Here we are for Game 3, pretty great hand. Definitely could be an issue if we don't keep hitting land drops. But we've got a turn 1 Esquire, a turn 2 Rally at the Hornburg, nice aggressive start here. Definitely how we want to start the game. Playing against red. Hoping for no fear fire foes from our opponent. They're going to cycle a Lorien Revealed. They are blue-red, which is a spell slinger sort of archetype. A lot of cards to damage us when they cast instants and sorceries, as well as cards that get better for the number of instants and sorceries in their graveyard. Pelargir Survivor puts a nice stop on all of our attacks right now. I do kind of want to be mana efficient playing a Spearmaster, but if I play Spearmaster, I don't have any attacks next turn either, and if I play a Westfold Rider, at least I can attack with that next turn, so I'm going to play the Westfold Rider. Uh-oh. Black Source could mean the Black Breath. That is an additional way to give all of our creatures -1/-1. Again, that's just a risk we take playing this archetype. If we end up playing against a Fear Fire foes or a Black Breath from an opponent, we're likely to just lose the game on the spot. But we know that, we've accepted that going into the archetype. We'll see it when it happens. And that looks like not this game, because they're going to spend an individual removal spell on our 1/1 Esquire of the King there. They do have a Haunt of the Dead Marshes, though, which is another really annoying way to block Westfold Rider pretty well. So we're still just chilling. We cannot break through their current board state until we draw into a removal spell of our own, or a Fear Fire Foes of our own, or our Anthem effect, like our Flowering of the White Tree, or one of our 2 Theodens, or when there's like 10 plus cards, but we need to hit one of those exact 10 cards. So we've got like a 1/3 chance of maybe attacking sometime soon. But if we hit none of those, then we're sitting. We're chilling. Hobbit Sting is one of those cards. Now we can clear out the Pelargir Survivor, theoretically, and then attack with everybody, and they can't reanimate the Haunt from the grave, so they just trade it into Westfold Rider, and we're sending in with the squad from then on. We'll try for it here and see what they've got. They've got 3 mana up for instants and sorceries because of Survivor, the Envelope, and the Island, so they could have the 3 mana counter target spell Amass one. And that would be quite bad for me. Okay, they don't have that. They've got something? I guess we'll see how bad it is. I assume we're just going to trade a Westfold Rider into a 1/1. Be a little bit unhappy about that, but get a good amount of damage in here. They've got to Deceive the Messenger. That's kind of whatever. And they kill 2 of our 1/1s? Okay. Yeah, this is fine. We were already going to trade our Rider into a 1/1, so this is far from the worst deceive I've ever been hit by. It's just a pretty reasonable deceive overall. The Denethor? Oh, good god. Denethor Haunt is ridiculously good here. Because they can sack the Haunt, make us lose a life and they gain a life, and then get a 1/1 in their end step, and they can do that every single turn. Oh, there's Fear Fire Foes, but we are far off from enough mana, so we're going to have a bad time. If I had 5 mana for this Fear Fire Foes, this game's winnable, but we're in a really, really bad position when our opponent assembles Denethor Haunt in their blue-red deck. On the plus side, however long it takes to get the 5 mana, it will still stop their whole board. Clears out all the 1/1s they made over time. But it's going to take a long time at this rate. We've drawn 1 extra land this game. So we still need 2 more. And the longer they keep doing this, the more they're setting up their future draws and just having more action in their hand after the Fear Fire Foes resolves, and I just can't hit a land. Three double strike or a 3/1 double strike? Let's just make a 3/1 double strike. How many lands did I run? I ran 16, right? So I've got 13 out of these 26 cards and a land cycler. 14 out of 26. So we're at more than a coin flip to hit a land at this point. On each draw. Like a 52% chance or something. Cool. Just need 1 more. Flame of Anor, blow up the Theoden. Well, so much for attacks here. But that does mean they only got 1 other card in their hand. I guess 2 now after their draw step. 1 is a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Alright, terrifying. For sure. But we hit the Fear Fire Foes now. I'd rather just kill the Denethor than the Troll. I'll let them keep a Troll and clear out 1 of my attackers each turn. Does Fear still get us there? We'll find out. Okay, sack a 1/1 response since they'll all die anyway. Make this 4 power so they can't kill the Protector of Gondor right now. Send in everybody. They're down to 9. Paste in a Shadowfax next turn. Never mind. Torment of Column is a live draw. Flowering of the White Tree. Speaking of live draws. They're just dead on board to that? Luxac McGee strikes again. Good grief, that was not a fair way to end the game. Well, We got really, really lucky there. I don't think we had any right winning that game. I mean, I had the Fear Fire foes to stop the Denethor shenanigans, but the thing about the Denethor shenanigans was it was letting them like stop all our attacks while spitting out a 1/1 and scrying one every turn. So like they were able to scry into their next cards, make sure they could always hit some kind of gas, and we were just lucky that their next cards were not strong enough to beat us just finding the lands for Fear Fire foes into the incredible Flowering of the White Tree top deck. So really, really lucky stuff for us there. And we will be 3-0 heading into game 4. Here we are for game 4. This is a bit of a slower hand, but it's got some of our strongest cards, particularly Fear Fire foes, so I will keep it. Now we have drawn an Esquire of the King, but we can't play that till turn 2 because I have to plain cycle the Eagles to get our white source. Our opponent drops a Rohirrim Lancer, which dies to Fear Fire foes, so I don't hate that. They are on blue-red. Oh, we top-decked another Plains. Now I might be a little sad about losing the Eagle, but for now I do still need more lands. Well, I did need to draw one more land at some point to get to Protector of Gondor. Horn of Gondor. Okay, so we probably lose to that. If they have more humans in their deck, then we're just going to lose to that. I have never lost when I've cast this card, and I've never won when I've played against it. I feel like I Fear Fire foes while they're tapped out. Just hope they have no more humans in hand, because otherwise all they're going to do is keep using the horn. Like they're not going to cast more humans until they need to. They'll just keep using this ability to double them up. I guess if I wait one turn, then I can be in a position where I can cast Fear Fire foes, clear out all their 1/1 humans, and still have a Hobbit Sting up for if they draw and play another Rohirrim Lancer or something. So I can stop the horn for now. And then also stop it again from their next human that they play. And if they don't have more humans, then they just can't do anything with the horn. It's just already done. But red at least has a decent amount of humans, even blue, because there's plenty legendary humans in the format in pretty much every color. That's the only way you can beat the horn. If you manage to clear out all of the humans from their board, then it doesn't do anything. But as soon as they play any one human, like the horn's just started again. Now it's going to be 2 humans into 4 humans into 6 or into 8 humans and so on. So there's another human. We need another creature on board to be able to Hobbit Sting that. So they probably won because we can't afford to kill that right now. Which means we know they get another spin of the wheel here. Which means even if I Hobbit Sting it next turn, they've got a human left over to make more humans. Unless they try to do that at instant speed. Okay, I was going to say, if they play really poorly here and try to horn at instant speed, we can get them. Because then when they try to horn, we Hobbit Sting in response. Could Errand Rider and still have the Hobbit Sting mana up? So I think that is what we do. I also still have the Esquire mana up. Counterspell would be pretty annoying. It's a flame. Deal 5 to Eowyn. Sure. Guess I don't have a legend anymore, but I've got an extra land, so this is pretty meaningless. I guess losing Eowyn's bad, but doesn't really stop Errand Rider. Draw another Esquire. Okay. Okay, no blocks. Smart, because if they blocked, I could Hobbit Sting Survivor and the horn doesn't do anything. I probably should have stung while they were tapped out. They need specifically the double blue and 1 counter, though. The uncommon, Saruman's Trickery. Oh, also they still get 2, I think. The check on... No, they don't still get 2, okay. Good, I was gonna say the big number there, I was like, wait, do they still get 2? No, they don't. 4 mana to buff everybody with Esquire? Kind of an annoyingly large amount of mana. I think I just attack with everybody then and play Protector Esquire. Or I'm sorry, 5 mana, not even 4. Deceive. Good card is good. Deceive triple block, that's bold. Okay. Go to 3 then. I guess I'll have 5 goddamn blockers next turn, because Horn. Treason of Isengard, plus Horn is 5 blockers against 6 attackers. Errand Rider of Gondor is not a very good draw right now. We just use Esquire. So they gotta block at least 1 more creature or they're dead. Okay. So if I buff, I put them to 1 life and I keep a lot of creatures. Keep everything but the Errand Rider. That's better than just playing another Errand Rider here. It's better to have a wider board state against a 1 life opponent. Alright, first time for everything. That is the first time in my life I have beaten a Horn of Gondor, and we are now 4-0, no matter what, a positive record in this draft, and pretty much breaking even in gems. But we'll take this as far as we can, see how far in the money we can get as we head into round number 5. Here we are for game 5. We're just going to start rallying, as you do. Rallying in perpetual fear of the game where we finally run up against the Fearfire foes or the Black Breath to wipe out all our 1/1s and ruin our day. Lembas, alright, let's play a Spearmaster or an Eowyn here. The Spearmaster is more immediate damage, so I'll just go for that. And I can still Eowyn next turn. Because Eowyn doesn't matter too much when your opponent doesn't have creatures on board. First Strike and Vigilance don't really do anything. Eowyn's really good once you're worried about how your creatures pair up against your opponent's creatures. So there's an Elrond now. So now Eowyn is solid. We could also just trade a Spearmaster into that. Oh my god, we also draw into a Theoden? So I could just Theoden, double strike the Spearmaster. Spearmaster definitely lives. It's not the most mana efficient thing I've ever done, but Theoden's very strong here, and I'd like to get him down while they're tapped out of blue mana. And that'll keep Spearmaster alive guaranteed. Chip in for like 6 damage here. Jump it is, alright. There's an Erebor Flamesmith. And a Smite on Theoden. Fair enough. So Spearmaster gets in for free. These 1/1s are really easy to get in. I did hit the 5th mana, so I can play Eowyn and haste out the Eowyn with the rally, so we'll do that here. Vigilance something. I guess I'll just Vigilance the Spearmaster. So it's got... since it's got reach. Maybe First Strike the 2/1 human would have been the best here. So that all they could do is trade into a 1/1. Yeah, that would have been smarter. I should have just given First Strike to the 2/1. We really don't need blockers. The vigilance is very unnecessary. But the first strike could make their blocks really bad, where they just stop 1 point of damage and trade off with a 1/1, instead of stopping 2 points of damage and trading off into a 1/1, which is still not good for them, that's for sure, but we could have made the block even more in our favor. They could Fear Fire Foes Eowyn, and then they still take 2, go to 4. And we've got a Protector of Gondor to reestablish a board. Ooh, Spiteful Banditry. Even better than Fear Fire Foes, the full board wipe. Luckily for us, we've got some stuff to reestablish a board state. I think I need to Protector of Gondor here to get 4 power toughness on the board instead of just 3 from the Spearmaster. Just poke for 2 for the turn rather than 3. Feels better to me, but it's very close. Get this board state wide again. Alright, so they had the Mythic Rare. They had the just full-on Wrath of God, but they didn't have enough mana to kill Eowyn at least. So kind of does feel like our first match against Fear Fire Foes or the Black Breath based on how that played out. So if we lose, then that is something we were expecting here. Now they have the Phial of Galadriel to double their life gain and their card draw if they get low enough. Just sack a treasure to counter this. Oh no, they've got the Phial taps for mana too. Alright, well that's rough. They might win off Phial of Galadriel. The crazy thing is, they had the big board wipe with Spiteful Banditry, but if they didn't like Banditry into also Phial for bonus life gain, they'd still be dead here. Well, I guess they'd be at 1 life. But if they do manage to turn things around, it's going to have to be off the back of Phial drawing them extra cards to really stabilize. Once they have an empty hand, they get to draw 2 instead of 1. It's a Grishnak. I would be incredibly surprised if they have a sacrifice effect in their hand right now in a blue-red deck. They seriously have Improvised Club to kill Eowyn with our 1/1? No, Horses of the Bruinen. Alright. Well, I obviously just make a first striking Protector of Gondor here. They scry to the top, I hate that. They're going to draw 2 cards next turn as well. They're probably getting there off the Phial of Galadriel at this point. Birthday Escape. If their other card was playable in any way, if they played that and then Birthday Escape, they would have drawn 2 again, which would have been wild. So I assume their other card was not playable there. It was. Because it was land, Rohirrim. They could have drawn like a million cards there. Oh my god. Wait a second. Are you kidding me? Is this just how today is gonna go? Oh my god. I mean, clearly we're the villains. Our opponent had things lined up for the heroic recovery, banditry into Phial of Galadriel, and we just top decked the flowering. Again, I mean, I don't know 100% what was in their hand, but Phial works whenever their hand is empty, not just during their draw step. I don't think they played a land pre-combat there, and they just cast a Birthday Escape with 1 other card in hand. And we saw, the only cards we saw is they discarded a mountain, they played an island, and they played a Rohirrim. So Rohirrim, Island, Mountain, if if any of those three were the other card with Birthday Escape, they could have played the other card first, then Birthday Escaped, and they would have drawn 2 to dig 1 card farther, trying to find removal of any kind. And yeah, so that was just one thing that I saw that might have changed things. I don't think they could have emptied their hand to where when they attacked, they got to draw 2, then discard 1. But that's another thing that you can do with the Phyloglagial. If your Ring Bearer attacks when you have an empty hand, you draw 2, discard 1, which is huge. Phile's just wild. So they got really close to the Banditry into Phyle recovery, but our deck just gives us the perfect draws in the end in these positions, which is pretty nice. We are now 5-0 as we head into Game 6. Here we are for Game 5. We've got a Rally, a Westfold Rider, and a Dawn of a New Age. I will definitely keep. Probably not going to just Dawn of a New Age for 2 cards again. Probably will wait till I Westfold Rider. I would love to draw another white source now, so I could play Westfold Rider and hold up Escape for more Thank. That would be fantastic. And more lands are not bad draws right now. We've got a 5-drop coming up with Shadowfax. They don't aggressively race me here. They just play 2 1/1s and pass. They're on red and black, which is the colors for the Black Breath and Fear Fire foes. The anxiety's kicking in. Battle-Scarred Goblin, that's another one that's pretty good against us. We can basically never block that. There's the 4 mana for Protector of Gondor, setting up a ridiculous Dawn of a New Age next turn, and that could be kind of our win condition as a whole, is just drawing 5 extra cards this game. If they don't Fear Fire foes us this exact turn. Okay, Uglook it is, we're good. I like our position a lot. I could even play a Shadowfax here, but I think it's better to just start drawing cards than send a 4/4 into their board. Just trade into their 3/3, I guess, if I do that. Yeah, and if I get a 6th land, I can play this and hold up Escape, which is really good. Let's just play the Dawn, get our draw 5, and go from there. Well, it's already set up to be a draw 5, so we can get a Protector of Gondor attack in just fine. I guess I have to worry about their crackback a little bit. Jump with a 1/1, make Uglook bigger. It's fair enough. Ooh, an Eagles of the North's big if we hit land 6. I can also turn it into land 6 for Shadowfax plus Escape. Oh my god, wait. Shadowfax can put the Eagle into play at tapped and attacking? For free? Oh my god, wait. Shadowfax Eagles is insane. Okay, I'll take my 2 damage. I cannot block that thing well. I do still really want to hit land 6. That would be pretty exceptional, because then I can do that and hold up Escape as a trick. Alright, well I can't do Escape as a trick, but I can still do a really ridiculous attack here. They do get to crackback for a lot. With Gimli, Uglook, a Goblin, and a 1/1. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe 12, 13 if 2 of their creatures die for Uglook. Plus 2 of my creatures die for Gimli. If I'd hit 1 more land here, I'd be really happy to Shadowfax, plop down to Eagles, and hold up Escape. I kind of want to just play Spearmaster, hold up Escape now instead. Because I think with Gimli like turning me down as my creatures die and Uglook getting bigger, they could have a pretty spooky crackback that I'd rather not just die to. Should probably just Escape here. keep the 3/3 on board. Alright, I'm going to have to be worried about a crackback from them, but now it's probably going to be less. I guess we'll see what creature they play here, but 5, 6, 7, 8 on board. We don't have to worry about trample or taking extra damage from our creatures dying or anything. Okay, there's Claim the Precious on Protector of Gondor. So they still kill our 3/3. Probably put it on the Goblin. Goblin's a really good ring bearer. Actually, with a Spearmaster on board, we could still just block and trade with it, but Goblin's super good against 1/1s as a ring bearer. Oh my god. I'm just going to Shadowfax Eagles, and then I just play Flowering the White Tree next turn, and if they don't die in 2 swings here, they've earned it. If they don't die in 2 swings, they have earned the victory so much. Yeah, I mean, one thing's going to die to Ugluk here, but it's not going to be Shadowfax, because Shadowfax is going to be a 5-power first strike. I guess all my creatures are first strike. Wait a second, all my creatures are first strikes. So they can do the first strike damage, have these die in first strike to make Ugluk a 7/7 and kill Shadowfax. Well, they still don't kill me on the crackback, and this is a lot of damage into a Flowering next turn. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Get out there, Eagles. I leave it to my opponent to find out if I die next turn. If they kill me on the crackback, they've earned it. If they don't kill me on the crackback, I don't know how on earth they don't die to Flowering of the White Tree next turn. Alright, luckily, I mean, we're not confirmed yet, but it doesn't look like they see the line where Ugluk gets to eat Shadowfax. That would be their best block, would be blocking Shadowfax with Ugluk, because their other creatures die in first strike. And then Ugluk's big enough, and they did not see that line, so Shadowfax remains. Play a land, pass, draw an extra card. There's an Eowyn and a Flowering of the White Tree. Sick. And they scoop them up. That was insane. That was a really nice Shadowfax play. Shadowfax spitting out a 6-drop Eagles in the North for free. That's quite a cost reduction on that card, I would say. And quite a ridiculous combat we had that turn. We're now 6-0. Great record no matter what happens from this point on. Gonna be quite far ahead in gyms and packs. And we're only 1 win away from a 7-win run, so here we are for the final boss, with 2 extra rounds in the chamber. Alright, this hand's a little bit awkward, but it's going to be very, very hard to convince me to mulligan away a Fear Fire foes. The main issue with this hand is that it is very mana heavy, so we do not want to draw any more lands, and as such, our first draw is a Plains. Okay, playing against green-blue with a Mirkwood Spider. And a Woe's Pathfinder. Pretty good start for our Fear Fire foes hand. However, our first 2 draws have been Plains, which are horrible draws for this hand. So, our matchup is looking very good for Fear Fire foes. Our draws are looking very bad. 4-lander. Draws 2 more lands off the top. We don't need to draw non-land cards till like turn 3 onward. Maybe even not till turn 4 onward, because if they play another creature here, we're just going to snap the Fear Fire foes out. But yeah, technically not hitting a non-land card turn 1 and turn 2 isn't the end of the world, because we already had our turn 2 play in our hand. But if I run out of things to do, it's going to be an issue. And now I am really hoping to hit a non-land card that I can cast here, because I would rather not just Fear Fire foes those 2. Alright, perfect. Rally at the Hornburg, good enough for me. Can hold up an Escape from Orthanc and do that as well. And this might be getting extra greedy off Fear Fire Foes. It probably is, but I like to think of myself as the Wario of Magic Arena streamers, so we live in the greed zone. I want to kill 3 things off this Fear Fire Foes. Honestly, our best line probably would have just been to kill the Spider and the Pathfinder early, because killing a Mana Dork is pretty great. It's basically stone raining your opponent, keeping them off extra mana. It's pretty important to do that when you can. But I want to kill 3 things. I'm getting greedy here. I want to get as much value off of Fear Fire Foes as I can, not just because I'm a super greedy player, but if we keep drawing any more lands this game, if we flood out a little bit, we're going to need to get as much mileage out of our cards as possible to make up for us just having less cards than our opponent in general, just because we have more lands. Okay, Mariodoc, Brandybuck. Come on, play a 1/1. Oh my god. Never punished. Greed is good. And I am not getting any more greedy than this. That would be exceptionally greedy. They could have the +1/+2 Death Touch trick to save Mariodoc, but the rest of the board dies, and they're so over it. The Fear Fire Foes 4-for-1 is gonna just end my opponent's life, and that's a 7-0 run up in Mythic with this deck. Phenomenal run. We had some incredible luck here. This is far from the best deck that I've drafted in this format, and far from the best red-white deck I've even drafted in this format. There's definitely some flaws here, but we drew like a champion, and the synergies that we drafted towards showed up in droves. We got a lot of token production going on, constantly drawing our 4 copies of Rally at the Hornburg and our 3 Protector of Gondors, and those helped in a lot of games because we managed to get all those token downs, and in a variety of those games draw some combination of Dawn of a New Age for big card draw with all the tokens, Flowering of the White Tree with those wide board states to find lethal, and some Theodens with all those token producers to get a bunch of double striking swings in. So really good stuff, drawing all the token producers and all the token payoffs frequently, as well as just not playing against any Fear Fire Foes or any of the Black Breaths is just another bit of extra luck there, where this is the kind of deck that, as good as it was, as powerful as it was in all of those games, any opponent that had just an average deck, doesn't even have to be a great deck, but they were just main decking 2 or 3 copies of the Black Breath, would probably have a pretty good time against us, regardless of the power level of the other cards in their deck, and especially any opponent with Fear Fire Foes, anything that wipes out all our 1/1s. So got really lucky not to pair up against any of those. Got some ridiculously lucky top decks. I think we top decked Flowering the White Tree for lethal in like 2 different games, which was absurd. And we got to draw into some really spicy combos. We had a Dawn of a New Age drawing 5 cards. We had a Shadowfax with Eagles of the North in hand. Everything in the deck got to really pop off about as strong as it could possibly be. So really just a draft where nothing went wrong during the gameplay. So really happy with that performance out of this deck. Again, not the strongest red-white deck I've ever drafted. We just got super, super lucky today for a nice, clean 7-0. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the videos. If you're interested in seeing some more videos like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more of these videos in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link or hit the join button in the description below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.